Most people are waiting for something that will never come. They're waiting to feel confident. They tell themselves, once I feel confident, I'll start the business. Once I feel confident, I'll go to the gym. Once I feel confident, I'll speak up. Once I feel confident, I'll chase my dream. But that's the lie. Confidence is not the beginning of the journey. It's the reward. And most people spend their entire lives waiting for a reward before they've done the work to earn it. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You are not supposed to feel ready. You are not supposed to feel fearless. You are not supposed to feel certain. The people you admire didn't start with confidence. Evidence that you can handle discomfort. Evidence that you can survive failure. Evidence that you can keep your word. Evidence that you can do hard things. And every piece of evidence becomes another brick. Brick by brick, day by day, decision by decision. Until one day you stop doubting yourself, not because life became easier, but because you've proven to yourself that you can handle hard things. That's real confidence. Most people think confidence means never feeling fear. Wrong. The entrepreneur feels fear. The athlete feels fear. The leader feels fear. The performer feels fear. Everyone feels fear. The difference is simple. One person obeys fear. The other moves anyway. And every time they move anyway, fear loses power. That's why courage comes before confidence, not the other way around. Courage opens the door. Confidence walks through it later. Think about the strongest people you've ever met. Not the loudest, not the most arrogant, the strongest. What do they all have in common? They trust themselves. They trust themselves to adapt, to recover, to survive setbacks, to keep going when things get hard. That trust is confidence. And trust is earned. You don't earn trust by talking. You earn trust by doing. Your habits know the truth. Your actions know the truth. The mirror knows the truth. You can repeat positive affirmations all day long. But if your actions don't match your words, deep down, you know. Because confidence isn't built by what you say. It's built by what you repeatedly do. The problem is that most people avoid discomfort. They delay. They procrastinate. They distract themselves. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow. But every time you run from a challenge, you teach your mind a dangerous lesson. I can't handle this. And eventually, you start believing it. That's how confidence dies. Not in one dramatic moment, in thousands of small moments. A broken promise, an excuse, a delay, a retreat, over and over again, until you stop trusting yourself. And when self-trust disappears, so does your potential. You stop aiming high. You stop taking risks. You stop believing in what you're capable of. Not because you're weak, because you've trained yourself to doubt your own actions. That's why small victories matter more than most people realize. Getting up when the alarm rings, finishing the workout, starting the project, making the phone call, speaking up, showing up. These aren't small things, they're proof. Proof that you're becoming someone stronger. And strength compounds. One brave decision creates a little confidence. That confidence makes the next brave decision easier. Then the next. Then the next. Momentum starts building, and momentum changes everything. The world sees confidence, but it never sees what created it. The failures, the embarrassment, the rejection, the sleepless nights, the uncertainty. That's where confidence is born. In the struggle, in the repetition, in the decision to continue, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because pressure reveals character, and character creates confidence. Comfort never built anybody. Comfort preserves who you are. Pressure transforms who you are. The hardest seasons of your life often become the moments that build you the most. The setbacks, the disappointments, the failures, the uncertainty. At the time, they feel unbearable. But later, you realize they made you stronger, more disciplined, more resilient, more capable. And every challenge leaves behind evidence. Evidence that says, I survived that. I handled that. I learned from that. I can do it again. That's where confidence comes from. Not winning, surviving. Not perfection, progress. Not talent, consistency. The modern world tells you to compare yourself to everyone else. Don't. There will always be someone richer, stronger, smarter, more successful. Comparison destroys confidence because it shifts your attention away from growth. The only comparison that matters is this. Are you better than you were yesterday? One better decision, one stronger habit, one promise kept, one difficult action completed. That's enough. Because confidence compounds, and eventually something incredible happens. You become the person you once admired, the person you used to watch from a distance, the person you thought was naturally confident. You realize they weren't different from you. They simply started building before you did, brick by brick, action by action, day by day. That's the secret. Confidence was never a gift. It was never luck. It was never genetics. It was never something you're born with. Confidence is earned. Confidence is built. And every single day you're either building it or destroying it. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel fearless. Stop waiting for confidence to magically arrive. Take the first step, then the next, then another. Because confidence isn't the starting point. It's the destination. And it belongs to those who move forward while everyone else is still waiting. The moment you stop waiting is the moment your life begins to change. And here's the part most people never understand. The life you want is hidden behind the things you're avoiding. That conversation you've been putting off. That opportunity you've been afraid to chase. That risk you've been too comfortable to take. That dream you've been telling yourself you'll pursue someday. It's all waiting on the other side of action. Not perfect action, not fearless action. Just action. Because every time you choose courage over comfort, something changes inside you. You begin to realize that fear was never the prison. The prison was obedience to fear. Think about it. How many opportunities have been lost because someone waited too long? How many businesses never started? How many talents were never developed? How many lives stayed small because someone kept waiting for the perfect moment? The perfect moment doesn't exist. There is only now. There is only the decision in front of you. And every decision is shaping your future. Most people underestimate how much their daily choices matter. They think success is created in massive breakthroughs. But success is usually built in ordinary moments. The moment you choose discipline instead of excuses. The moment you choose growth instead of comfort. The moment you choose responsibility instead of blame. The moment you choose action instead of hesitation. Those moments seem small, but they are not small. They are defining moments. Because every action sends a message to your mind. Every action tells your brain who you are. When you repeatedly quit, your mind learns weakness. When you repeatedly follow through, your mind learns strength. And eventually, strength becomes your identity. That's why discipline is so powerful. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect in action. It's proving to yourself that your goals matter more than your moods, that your future matters more than your excuses, that your standards matter more than your comfort. Anyone can feel motivated on a good day, but champions are built on bad days, the days when they're tired, the days when they're frustrated, the days when nothing seems to be working, the days when nobody is watching. Those are the days that matter, because those are the days that reveal who you really are. Character is not built when things are easy. Character is revealed when things are difficult. When the pressure rises, when the obstacles appear, when the results are slow, when the rewards are invisible. That's when most people quit. But that's also when extraordinary people are created. While others are looking for reasons to stop, they keep going. One more step, one more rep, one more attempt, one more day. Not because they feel amazing, because they made a decision that their future is worth fighting for. And that decision changes everything. Because once you stop negotiating with your weaknesses start losing power. The excuses become quieter. The doubts become weaker. The fear becomes smaller. And your confidence becomes stronger. Not overnight, not in a week, not through some magical breakthrough, through repetition, through consistency, through showing up again and again until the impossible becomes normal. One day you'll look back and realize something incredible. The things that once terrified you are now routine. The challenges that once stopped you no longer intimidate you. The version of yourself that once felt weak has disappeared. Not because life got easier, because you got stronger. That's the reward. That's what happens when you stop waiting and start building. When you stop wishing and start working. When you stop hoping and start doing. Because confidence has never belonged to the people who wait. It belongs to the people who move. The people who fall and get back up. The people who fail and try again. The people who act while they're still scared. The people who refuse to quit. Those are the people who transform their lives. Those are the people who become unstoppable. And the best part? They're not special. They simply made a choice. A choice available to every person listening right now. The choice to start. Today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when conditions improve. Today. Because your future is being built by what you do now. Not by what you plan to do. Not by what you intend to do. By what you actually do. So ask yourself, what are your actions building? Strength or weakness? Discipline or excuses? Confidence or doubt? Because every day you are casting votes for the person you are becoming. And eventually, those votes become your identity. Choose wisely. Your future self is watching. And before you scroll, ask yourself one question. What is the one thing you've been avoiding because you're waiting to feel confident? That conversation, that business, that goal, that dream. Whatever it is, stop waiting. Take the first step today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Because confidence isn't something you find, it's something you build. One action at a time, one choice at a time, one step at a time. If this message spoke to you, make a promise to yourself and comment, brick by brick below. If you made it this far, you're different. You're committed to building confidence through action, not waiting for the perfect moment. And if you're serious about becoming stronger, more disciplined, and more confident, hit subscribe and join a community that chooses growth over excuses every single day. Share this video with someone who's still waiting for the right time to start. Because one decision, one action, one moment of courage can change an entire life. Now go build the person you're capable of becoming. We'll see you at the top.